is Karen Stewart, and I am a member of the congregation of St. Paul's United in Edmonton. Paul, Suzanne, Jim, and I welcome to this summer Sunday service all friends and family of St. Paul's United, as well as all of you who took the time and the interest in sharing our service with us. First of all, we at St. Paul's United Church would like to acknowledge that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. Today's theme is self-compassion. The word compassion means suffering with others. Self-compassion is being present to our own suffering, lightening the yoke of our burdens and in a caring way with the help of God, who is always present and ready to engage with us.
I am and you are. Living is a dance of rising and falling, of catching and connecting, of falling and trusting that love will catch you and hold you until you are able to rise again. It is a dance of loving and of catching you when you fall, being there in love so that your pain has arms to fall into, being there in love so that my pain can be held tenderly until I can rise again. God is the love. God is the loving. God catches you and holds you until you are ready to rise again. I am the arms of God. I do the catching and the holding. I am the falling, the hoping, and the trusting that love will catch me. God will be experienced as kind to the extent that I am kind. God will be experienced as loving to the extent that I am loving. If I am hate, God will be experienced as hate. If I am cruel and unkind, God will be experienced as cruel and unkind. This is not some messianic delusion. This is the way it is. I have been given beauty in abundance, and that abundance is not mine to hoard. It is not mine at all. I am, and that comes with great responsibility. There are days when your presence is the only divine presence that matters. Because you are here, I can be here too. Because you are, I am. And because I am, you are.
Shadows of life's wounding, showing me the way to live in faith in your embrace. Bathe me in your love, O source of awe and wonder. Help me walk the sacred path of harmony and peace. May I be attentive to the musings of your presence, drinking from the well of hope that brings the heart's release. Bathe me in your grace, O one of spirits longing. Teach me of your gentle ways that fills the soul with strength. Guide me on the pilgrimage that leads to truth and wholeness. Fill me with your promise of a love that knows no limit.
In the 11th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew, it is written that Jesus said to the crowds, "All you who labor and are overburdened, come to me, and I will refresh you. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am meek and modest, and your lives will find repose. For my yoke is comfortable, and my load is light."
Reflections on self-compassion. Self-compassion is a topic that elicits memories of times of pain and suffering, and how I got through them. I have personally and professionally experienced the benefits of self-compassion. I also know what the lack of it can do. Let me begin and end with me. I have lived long enough to see some friends and family die. I've also experienced the kind of grief that is not talked about or really understood, a disenfranchised grief. I've worked in palliative care for over 30 years, and I have seen how people get through the hard stuff and how they don't. Self-compassion starts with me, but I don't believe it ends there. My tendency has been to withdraw in times of intense loss and lick my wounds for a while. But I know I cannot stay there and live fully, to live with joy enough to spread. So with self-care, self-talk, and with self-acceptance, I can go to the next step of self-compassion. Self-care, doing what you need to be well. It often involves a good night's sleep, a good cry, a walk in the woods, a talk with my maker. Self-talk, not allowing that inner chatter that can be so destructive. Words like "I'm not good enough." I need to tell myself that I am good enough, even in those times when I struggle to believe it. Self-acceptance, words of gentleness like in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. These words, this prayer, has gotten me through some tough times. I need to tell myself, you did your best. You are part of humanity, and God made you imperfectly perfect. For me, self-nurturing always includes going into the woods. Nature is my great restorer, my centering prayer, my space of healing. God and I are one in the woods, on a mountain trail, on my skis or my bike or on my feet. I feel wrapped in this blanket of beauty, so alive with life's hopes. For me, this is so intense, I hardly have words to express the power of nature, the power of God's beautiful earth, sea, and sky. And finally, self-compassion brings me to others, to community. Until I come back to you, I'm not completely healed or whole. I am still broken. I come for your support. I need you, and I know you need me as well. We help each other to be more complete. We cannot do this, though, before we have done some self-care. I have also learned what I need from others. The support I need from others is unique to me. Being kind to myself means knowing who can hold my pain and me in those times and those moments, and do it gently. As my good friend Heather Walby was so apt to say, take care of yourself, or you will have nothing to give to others.
Come and find the quiet center in the crowded life we lead. Find the room for hope to enter. Find the frame where we are freed. Clear the chaos and the clutter. Clear our eyes that we can see all the things that really matter. Be at peace and simply be. Silence is a friend who claims us, cools the heat and sows the peace. God it is who speaks and names us, knows our being face to face, making space within our thinking, lifting shades to show the sun, raising courage when we're shrinking, finding scope for faith begun. In the Spirit, let us travel, open to each other's pain. Let our loves and fears unravel, celebrate the peace we gain. There's a place for deepest dreaming. There's a time for heart to care. In the Spirit's lively scheming, there is always room to spare. There is always room to spare. There is always room to spare.
Reading again from the Gospel of Matthew in the 22nd chapter, we hear, when the Pharisees learned that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they conspired against him, and one of them, a legal expert, put him to the test. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? Jesus replied to him, you are to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. This commandment is first and foremost, and the second is like it. You are to love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hangs everything in the law and the prophets.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Compassion is a suffering with others. Suffering is a human condition. We all suffer at one point or another. When we are ill or threatened in some way, we feel fear and uncertainty and will do whatever we can to feel safe again and in control of the situation. If that is not easily attainable, we go into denial, self-criticism, or feel shame and guilt, and often switch into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Particularly in the last 16 months of COVID-19, many people landed on very hard times, and it is understandable for them to feel isolated, anxious, and not enough. Mental health has become a significant concern on a community, provincial, federal, and global levels. The proliferation of misinformation created fear and uncertainty, a sense of loneliness and mistrust that feeds in our feelings of invisibility and disconnection to ourselves and to God, our life-giving source of love, comfort, and guidance. God says, love your neighbor like yourself. It seems many of us believe that it is much preferable to love your neighbor than ourselves. But how sincere is that compassion when in the secrecy of our minds we are often very judgmental and critical of ourselves? I even go so far as to say we would never talk as harshly to others as we talk to ourselves. How can we give something that does not come from within our own inner knowing and feeling? How can we pass on God's love if it does not flow through us first? Yet reaching out to that love and allow it to soothe, nurture, and guide us seems to be rather difficult when we are self-centered in misery. As we have heard from Matthew 11, God invites us into relationship, promises to give us rest from carrying our heavy loads and lighten our burdens so that they become manageable and maybe even transformable into positive outcomes. Self-compassion is the way. Self-compassion for me is a spiritual practice that helps us to connect to this life-giving, nurturing force that is our Creator. Fill ourselves with kindness in body and soul before passing it on to others in need. Christine Neff, an associate professor at the University of Texas and trailblazing researcher of self-compassion, introduced me to a mindfulness technique that accesses that gentle and nurturing side of caring and provides comfort and self-acceptance when we are struggling. It is a technique that allowed me to reconnect to that loving breath of Creator. Out of that gentle self-caring, we are able to grow a fierce self-compassion, a powerful, action-oriented side of caring that steers us into action to improve our lives and lighten the suffering for ourselves and others. Like yin and yang, both the gentle and fierce self-compassions are connected and essential. As Christine Neff states, tenderness without fierceness and action can lead into complacency, and fierceness without tenderness can become hostile and aggressive. Allow me to guide you through the 4 elements of the tender, mindful self-compassion. that can be practiced anytime and anywhere. Sit on a comfortable surface. Take a few relaxing breaths. Close your eyes or allow your eyes to wander and become soft. Think about an instance in the past when you are feeling badly, having difficult time with something. And say to yourself, this is a moment of suffering. Breathe and notice, where do you feel it in your body? Give it a name. Name it for what it is. Visualize God's loving breath like a bright light coming down to you, flowing down your body, through and around you. Feel yourself bathed and supported in that light. Say to yourself, it is human to feel that way. You are not weird. It is normal to feel that way because it is hard. There are many people who feel like you. You are not alone in that. Stay mindful to your body and breath. Don't overthink it, just be. Say to yourself, or preferably aloud, may I be kind to myself in this moment. I prefer to say it aloud so that my body registers the words flowing down. May I be kind to myself in this moment. Breathe and feel those words affect and feel your body. Lastly, if you had a very special friend who was in your situation, how would you comfort that friend? What would you say? Now turn around and give it to yourself. Say those words to yourself. How does it feel to hear those comforting words? Breathe in, breathe out, and feel Creator's light holding you and your words gently. Let it be so.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my heart is great, and my spirit sings of the wondrous things that you bring to the ones who wait. You fixed your sight on the servant's plight, and my weakness you did not spurn. So from east to west shall my name be blessed, could the world be about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn. Oh, I am small, my God, my all, you are great things in me. And your mercy will last from the depths of the past to the end of the age to be. Your very name puts the proud to shame, and to those who would fall you will show your might, put the strong to flight, for the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
We
We hold you in our hearts and bless you on way. And bless you on your way.
I think that one was a bit off. That's okay.
You didn't.